Travel with me to experience a place of amazing beauty and significance. On the northwest coast of France, in Normandy. As you approach by car, Mont Saint-Michel rises on the coastline. Several times in the past decade, I have visited and photographed this unique landmark. And I am always filled with awe when I see it. The Mont is host to a large church and abbey at the top, with a medieval town circling its base. In early history, this place was just a large granite outcropping that withstood the surrounding sea and constant tides. How and why did all this construction take place on this very inhospitable building site? Legend has it that Saint Michael the Archangel appeared several times in the year 708 to Saint Aubert, the bishop, in a nearby city. The story goes that the bishop thought he was dreaming about Michael and his request to build a church on the rock island. So to get his attention, Michael burned a hole in Aubert's head. Bishop Aubert finally established an abbey, a special place for monks and nuns to worship, and dedicated it to God and the Archangel. The initial abbey, with its Benedictine monks, contained architectural features that were strong and simple. Soon, a lay population that supported the abbey began living below. Mont Saint-Michel's pyramid shape has been compared to the structure of feudal society. With the church and God at the top, the abbey with accommodations for monks, lords, and knights, the town and merchants below, then at the bottom, the fishermen and farmers working the land. It is a magnificent time capsule. From the very beginning, it was evident this place could not be easily conquered. It had a 360-degree vantage point with tidal waters around it most of the day. Positioned at the mouth of several strategic rivers. Birds seemed to be the only creatures with easy access. Here is how building materials and supplies were brought into the abbey compound. Pulled up a ramp on a sled, through a small opening. Powered by a giant wheel driven by human legs. This task was probably a form of penance or punishment. So as the French provinces of Normandy and Brittany, along with their English allies, went back and forth over the centuries in a perpetual state of war, the Mont was a highly coveted and contested piece of real estate. In the Bayeux Tapestry from 1066, we see a stylized Mont with soldiers from Brittany caught in the tide, holding their shields high out of the water. The current and quicksand are making it impossible to advance. The Mont was designed to be impregnable. Even today, you must pass through 3 separate entrances. This is the first exterior opening, then moats and drawbridges, finally entering the town through a walled passage. You navigate the narrow main street, always climbing up and around, until the buildings of the abbey come into view overhead. More climbing and you enter the fortified structures of the abbey. When you finally arrive at the top, the view emerges on all sides. The large, magnificent church and abbey buildings are a mix of Romanesque and Gothic architecture. Because the structures were rebuilt and enlarged over 1,000 years. A door at the side of the church leads to a rooftop garden constructed for monks to stroll and meditate. In the chambers below the abbey, massive pillars bear the weight of the rooms above them. Most of the abbey roof structure, like here in the monks' dining room, is made of wood to lessen the overall weight. This large abbey room with lots of exterior light and big fireplaces for warmth is called the Knight's Room. It was used to entertain dignitaries, but the monks also used it during the day to do their painstaking work of illuminating manuscripts. In the 1400s, as a defensive measure, formidable ramparts were built all around the town, with interconnected walkways. During the 1700s, the religious population vacated, and the Mont was used as a prison. Finally, the 1800s saw the rediscovery of the spiritual side of the Mont, and in 1874 it became a historic monument, with the monks, nuns, and visitors returning. During our current time, something unique is happening. About 10 years ago, the Mont was not surrounded by water during most high tides. In fact, the visitors' parking lot was located at the front door. Then, I was able to venture without difficulty onto the packed sands around the Mont to photograph. But a movement is underway to return the Mont to its island character, removing the parking lot and accumulated silt that had come down the river, thus allowing the tidal waters to surround the island again, passing under a newly constructed causeway. Parking has been moved inland. Shuttle buses and other transportation bring visitors. Nowadays, venturing onto the sands becomes a much muckier affair. Guides are employed, and youngsters are delighted. It's possible for some lucky visitors to stay overnight on Mont Saint-Michel. Comfortable lodging is available, along with beautiful dining. After the crowds leave, the spiritual aspects of being here start to emerge. You begin to understand why people have been drawn here over time. It is this feeling that I am truly at a loss for words to describe.